My presentation will be on Alexander Pope. What will I be discussing in this PowerPoint? Who's Alexander Pope? His contribution to the Augustan age, literary characteristics of the age, and Alexander Pope's greatest poems, a summary, and interesting. Who was Alexander Pope? Alexander Pope was an English author born in London, England. His birthday is May 21st, 1688, and he died May 30th, 1744. Pope lived in a time in England where Catholics were subject to laws like the Jim Crow laws of the southern United States. When Pope was a young boy, he developed tuberculosis near the spine that caused him to have a slightly disfigured body. Alexander Pope learned Latin and Greek before the age of 12. Contribution to the Augustan age. The age of the Augustus was the prime for Latin literature, so the age of Pope was the golden age for English literature. Pope was one of the known names associated with the epoch known as the Augustan Age, even though other authors like Jonathan Swift and Daniel Defoe had a more lasting influence. Continuing literary characteristics of the age. 1. The age of prose and reason. Age of prose, reason, and good sense was mainly not of poetry, but mainly magazines and newspapers. 2. The age of satire. Nearly every writer of the first half of the 18th century was used and rewarded by Whigs or Tories for satirizing their enemies. Age of good sense. Good sense means love of the reasonable and hatred of the mystical and visionary. 4. Fall of nature. By nature, the gust is meant to copy man and the manners of society. Pope said the proper study of mankind is to study man. Town and city life. Pope and Johnson, though urban and outlook, show remarkable interest in middle class and to widen the scope of literature. Greatest works by Pope. An Essay on Criticism, 1711. The Rape of the Lock, 1712-14. The Dunkey, 1728. An Essay on Man, 1733-34. Pope's work continued. An essay on criticism was written to express his opinion on literature as a poet and critic. His poem was a response over whether poets should write naturally or write on free-based determined rules. The Rape of the Lock is a mock epic that satirizes the upperclassmen in London at the time. The story sets on the main character Belinda, whose lock of hair gets cut off at a social gathering. Pope's work continued. The Dunkey is a mock herring where Pope satirizes certain figures in the literature world of his time. An essay on man was written and dedicated to his friend Henry St. John. Pope wanted to defend the ways of God to man. Alexander Pope also wrote this poem to St. John to explain that it was okay for humans to judge to a certain extent. Also, he wanted to get across in his poem that all creatures are linked together in a way. Interesting facts about Pope. He was known as the Wassail Twinkham because of his stinging satirical attacks on the famous people of the age, especially other writers. 2. Pope rarely left the house without a brace of pistol and his dog, a Great Dane named Bounce, simply because, due to his spinal having tuberculosis in his spinal, caused a curve in his spine, and he only grew to be 4 feet and 6 inches tall. And back then, he had a lot of people that was watching out, looking out, being around him simply because of all the stories he read, basically. Pope was referred to as the Mocha Happy Tree because it was claimed that he can cure his headaches by inhaling coffee. And these are my sources, and this is the end of my presentation. Thank you.